July 12, 1985. The night before Live Aid, hotel room near Wembley Stadium. Brian May sat with Freddie Mercury, and Freddie Mercury said he wanted to stop.Not Live Aid specifically, Queen, the whole thing, the studio, the album, the road, the world tour, back to the studio, the cycle, that had been running for 15 years and that had somewhere in the last 2 become something Freddie Mercury was no longer certain he could keep doing. He sat in the hotel room and he told Brian May that he had lost the feeling for it, that the feeling had gone, that standing on stages and performing the songs they had always performed and going back to the studio to write new ones felt like a thing he was doing rather than a thing he was. Brian May listened. He did not argue. He did not say, "You're wrong, the feeling is still there." He sat with what Freddie had said, and then he said one sentence. And Freddie Mercury looked at him. And then Freddie Mercury said, "Oh, fuck it, we'll do it." The next evening, July 13th, 1985, at 6:41 p.m., Queen walked onto the Wembley stage at Live Aid and delivered what would later be voted the greatest rock performance in history. It started with that hotel room. It started with Freddie saying he wanted to quit. It started with the one sentence Brian May has never stopped thinking about. The feeling had been building for longer than the hotel room. By 1985, Queen had been running the same cycle for more than a decade. Album, tour, world, home, album, tour, world, home. The works had come out in 1984, a solid album, successful, the kind that confirmed what everyone already knew about Queen without surprising anyone, including Queen. And Freddie Mercury was exhausted in the specific way of someone who has been managing something for a long time and who is no longer certain why. He had said it publicly, "We were forming a rut, I wanted to get out." It was so routine. Go to the studio, make an album, go on the road, come back. By the time you came back, it was time to start again. In the hotel room the night before Live Aid, he stopped being careful about it and said the thing directly. Queen had almost not done Live Aid. Roger Taylor was the one who wanted to do it. Brian May and John Deacon were uncertain. And Freddie had said he hadn't got the right feeling for it. The idea of 50 bands on the same bill, crammed into a single day, it felt wrong. When Freddie Mercury said something felt wrong, as Brian May has described, there was no dragging him. They parked it. For weeks. And then Brian May came back with one thing. One sentence. "If we wake up the day after and we haven't been there, we're going to be pretty sad." Freddie Mercury thought about it. He said, "Oh, fuck it. We'll do it." Not the careful weighing of pros and cons. The specific logic of someone who understood that the regret of missing something is worse than the anxiety of doing it. They booked the Shaw Theater near King's Cross. They rehearsed for a week. They got it down to the minute. And on the night of July 12th, 1985, the night before the show, the night after the last rehearsal, Freddie Mercury sat in the hotel room and told Brian May he was ready to quit anyway. Not Live Aid. Everything. This is the specific quality of the conversation that Brian May has described in fragments across decades of interviews. It was not about the next day. It was about the last 15 years. About the cycle. About the rut. About the feeling of doing something because it was what you did rather than because it was what you were. Freddie Mercury had gotten to July 12, 1985, in the specific state of someone who has agreed to do the thing and who has rehearsed the thing and who has stood in a rehearsal room for a week, making the thing as good as it could possibly be, and who, in the hotel room the night before, was sitting with the fact that they were not sure the thing was enough anymore. Brian May listened. He sat with it. And then he said the sentence. The sentence was not complicated. It was not a speech. It was not the kind of thing that takes a long time to say. Brian May looked at Freddie Mercury, who had just told him he was done with Queen, who had been performing with increasing exhaustion for 2 years, who was sitting in a hotel room the night before the largest audience of their career, and Brian May said, "If we wake up the day after this show and we haven't been there, we're going to be pretty sad. That was it. No argument about the band's legacy. No appeal to obligation or to the fans or to the 15 years of work that led to this moment. Simply the logic of not being there. The regret of absence. The specific and personal calculation of what it would feel like. The morning after, to have missed it. Freddie Mercury heard this. He sat with it for whatever amount of time people sit with the things that change their minds. And then he said, "Oh, fuck it. We'll do it. 2 words. Oh, fuck it." The sentence that sent Queen to the Wembley stage. The sentence that produced the greatest rock performance in history. Said in a hotel room the night before. In the specific conversational register of two people who have known each other for 15 years and who have run out of the need to perform their relationship for each other. The morning of July 13th, 1985. Wembley. The stadium filling. 50 bands on the same bill. The production of an event that had never been attempted at this scale. Queen had a slot at 6:41 p.m. They had rehearsed their set. Bohemian Rhapsody cut down. Radio Gaga, AO into the crowd. Hammer to Fall, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Then the finale with Brian May. Is this the world we created? To within seconds of their allotted time. The Live Aid press officer who was backstage that day would later say that Queen were the most nervous band of the day. Not the least prepared. The most nervous. Bernard Doherty saw it. He noted it. The band that had rehearsed their set to the minute, that had prepared more thoroughly than any other act on the bill, were the most nervous backstage. Roger Taylor has confirmed it. Quite tense. Just hoping it was all going to work. Brian May has described it from the inside. There's an infinite space underneath your feet. If you screw up, it would be really appalling. And Freddie, who had said "oh fuck it" in the hotel room the night before, was about to walk onto the stage and do the thing he had almost not done. Bob Geldof found Freddie Mercury backstage. He had specific instructions for the Queen frontman, and he delivered them with the specific bluntness of Bob Geldof, delivering anything. Don't get clever. Just play the hits. This is the instruction that every musician who performed at Live Aid needed to hear, and that Freddie Mercury in particular needed to hear. Because Freddie Mercury, left to his own devices in front of a crowd, was inclined toward clever. Toward the extended improvisation, the call and response, the specific excess of a performer who understood that the audience was there for more than the songs, and who always gave them more. Bob Geldof understood that the moment was too big for more. The moment required the songs. The hits. The things people knew. Don't get clever. Freddie Mercury listened to Bob Geldof. And then Freddie Mercury walked onto the stage and did exactly what Bob Geldof told him not to do. He played the hits. He also had 72,000 people doing AO for 30 seconds in the middle of Radio Gaga. He got clever. He did it anyway. And nobody in the stadium minded, and nobody watching at home minded. And the moment that was already the biggest moment of his career became the biggest moment of his career because he got clever. Because he got clever. This is the thing about Freddie Mercury that the hotel room conversation the night before illuminates. He said he was done. He said the feeling was gone. He said the cycle had become a rut, and he was not certain he could keep doing it. And then he got on the stage, and he gave everything. Not despite the exhaustion. Through it. The specific quality of a performer who, once they are in front of a crowd, stops being exhausted and starts being whatever they have always been in that space. Freddie Mercury on a stage was not the same person as Freddie Mercury in a hotel room. In the hotel room, he was the person who was tired, who had doubts, who looked at the rut and saw the rut. On the stage, he was the person who made the 72,000 people at Wembley feel they were the only 72,000 people in the world. These two people lived in the same body. The hotel room person and the stage person. Brian May knew both of them. He had known both of them for 15 years. And in the hotel room the night before, He had said the sentence that moved the hotel room person toward the stage. At 6:41 p.m. on July 13, 1985, Queen walked onto the Wembley stage. The response, immediate, deafening. Brian May ran on which he didn't normally do, on pure adrenaline. They were at home. Bohemian Rhapsody. Cut short. Radio Gaga. And the hands. The AO. Hammer to fall. We are the champions. And then the finale, the guitarist who had said the sentence, and the singer who had said, oh, fuck it, at the front of the stage, acoustic guitar. The voice. 20 minutes. 8,900,000,000 people watching. The greatest rock performance ever recorded, according to a poll of 60 music industry insiders taken 20 years later. It started with, I wanted to quit. It ended with, oh, fuck it. Freddie Mercury talked about Live Aid in the months that followed. He said, it seems like we wrote Is This the World We Created for that moment. Brian May. One of the few moments in anyone's life that you know you're doing something for all the right reasons. Not for the money. Not for the career. For all the right reasons. Roger Taylor. Watching from the drums during Radio Gaga. The whole stadium in unison. During We Are the Champions. The crowd like a whole field of wheat swaying. They had rehearsed it to the minute. They had been the most nervous backstage. They had done it anyway. The right reasons. And Freddie Mercury, who had said he was done the night before, had given everything to the right reasons. Had given everything to the right reasons. And Brian May has never forgotten the sentence he said. He has described the conversation in fragments, different interviews, different decades, different contexts, but the core of it has remained consistent. Freddie said he hadn't got the right feeling. Brian said, if we're not there, we're going to be pretty sad. Freddie said, oh, fuck it. Brian May has described this as the moment that led to Live Aid. He has never fully described what the hotel room conversation cost him to have. Whether it was difficult to say the sentence, whether Brian May sat in a hotel room with Freddie Mercury, who was telling him he wanted to quit the band they had built together, and felt the weight of what was being said before he found the words to respond. Whether the sentence came easily, or whether it was the product of sitting with something for a long time. He has given the result. Freddie said, oh, fuck it, without fully giving the moment before it. The hotel room. The conversation. The two of them. The sentence that had to be exactly right. Live Aid changed Queen. The works had been successful, but cautious. The hot space years had created a distance between Queen and their own instincts that the years since had been spent carefully closing. Live Aid closed it. Completely. In 20 minutes at Wembley, Queen remembered what they were for. Brian May. From the moment we hit the stage, we felt we were at home. After years of managed distance, they were at home. The Magic Tour of 1986 followed the largest tour of their career, Nebworth in August, with up to 200,000 people. The final Freddie Mercury performance in front of a crowd. Live Aid produced all of it. And Live Aid started with the hotel room. The sentence. Oh, fuck it. The rut Freddie Mercury had described was real. He had been saying for 2 years that something was wrong with the cycle. He was right. The album tour world home repetition had built Queen into one of the most successful bands in the world. It had also become the thing making it impossible for Freddie Mercury to find the reason to continue. He needed something outside the cycle. Something that broke the pattern. Live Aid was that thing. Not because of the charity, because it was different. A single day. A single stage. A single chance. No album cycle attached. Just. Here is the stage. Here are the songs. Here is the crowd. And Freddie Mercury, who had said he was done the night before, walked onto the stage and showed the world what he wanted to do with it. He got clever. He played the hits. He had 72,000 people doing AO in the middle of the afternoon. He went home. He remembered why. He remembered why. And Brian May, who had been in the hotel room the night before and who had said the sentence that changed the evening, has been living with that sentence for 40 years. He has been asked about it in many forms. He has described it with the consistent care of someone who knows what the sentence produced and who is aware of how close it came to not being said. If we wake up the day after this show and we haven't been there, we're going to be pretty sad. He said it. Freddie heard it. Freddie said, "Oh, fuck it." And then Freddie Mercury walked onto a stage in front of 72,000 people and reminded the world and himself what he was. Not a brand, not a career, not an album cycle, a performer, the performer, the specific and unrepeatable thing that only he could do. In front of a crowd with a microphone. Brian May gave him back to the stage with one sentence. He has never forgotten saying it. He has never fully described what it cost to say it. The hotel room is in the history of Queen now. The conversation, the tiredness, the almost not being there, the sentence, the oh fuck it, the stage. At 6:41 p.m., the greatest rock performance ever recorded. It started the night before. It started with the sentence. July 12, 1985. Hotel room. Wembley. Freddie Mercury said he wanted to quit. Not the show. Everything. The cycle. The rut. 15 years of it. Brian May listened. He did not argue. He said one sentence. If we wake up the day after and we haven't been there, we're going to be pretty sad. Freddie Mercury thought about it. He said, "Oh, fuck it. We'll do it. The next morning." Backstage. Most nervous band of the day. Roger Taylor. Quite tense. Brian May. Infinite space beneath your feet. Bob Geldof. Don't get clever. Just play the hits. 6:41 p.m. The stage. The crowd. The response so deafening it took your breath away. AIO. Radio Gaga. Hammer. To fall. We are the champions. Is this the world we created? 20 minutes. 1,900,000,000 people watching. Greatest rock performance ever recorded. It started in the hotel room. It started with, "I want to quit." It started with one sentence. It started with, "Oh, fuck it." Brian May has never forgotten saying it. Freddie Mercury said it once. He walked onto the stage. He got clever. He played the hits. He remembered why.